I got this box in the mail today. It's a box from FPV Model, and I'd like to show you what's inside it. I know it's an unboxing. I've been watching RC Model reviews for a long time, and he always says, we don't do unboxings here. And when I found myself about to do an unboxing, I thought, oh my gosh, so embarrassing. But it's, anyway, whatever. I got here a Maytech mini power hub. This is a PDB with a 5-volt, 12-volt voltage regulator. Before I started putting the ROSD on every single one of my copters, this was my favorite PDB. And this is a very nice PDB at a very nice price if you're not going to go with the ROSD and want just a standard PDB. So I like that. Very nice to have that included. Battery straps. So now let's take a look at the frame. We got metal standoffs here. Very nice. Similar to the QAV-R, which has metal instead of nylon standoffs that you find on some boards. Your standard assortment of nuts and bolts. These look very familiar. I don't have a disassembled QAV-R frame to compare the hardware to. It doesn't look to my eye to be identical. That's a standard assortment. Yeah, no, that's not identical at all. So let's see. Is it the same dimensions? It could be the same dimensions. It does look to be the same dimensions. It looks to be exactly the same dimensions as the QAV-R. So that's interesting. One almost wonders if the hardware might be interchangeable. Now here's the arms. Let's just look at the quality of the carbon fiber. Now I'm not as experienced an eye as, say, Bruce when it comes to checking this stuff out, but just looking for tooling marks and whatnot. So I don't know if y'all remember when BMS Web did the video when they received an Alien seconds frame, and they had the guys from Alien mark the second, what it was about the frame that made it a sort of defective seconds frame. And there were some tiny things, right? So, I mean, you could barely see some of the marks until somebody from the factory put a Post-it note on it. So if you look right here, for example, oh, how close can I get? You're not gonna, there you go. You can just see there's like a scratch there. Now, I'm not criticizing at all, but I do find it interesting that that's the kind of thing that when you pay $140 for a frame, that they call that a second, and they won't ship it to you until they mark it down. And what do they mark it down to? What does an Alien 5-inch seconds frame go for? Well, probably, more expensive than this frame. So I'm not being critical. I'm really not. And frankly, the first time you fly it, you're going to put more marks on it than that. But I do think, if you're sitting there in your living room going, well, what do I get for $140 when I pay for an Alien frame? And the answer is that you get somebody who will look at the stuff coming out of the factory, and if it's got tiny scratches like that, or who knows what else they might catch, they won't send it to you. Also, I can't help but notice, I'm probably getting cancer right now, I don't know. Right? So the tooling, it's obviously come straight from the factory without any additional sort of preparation, right? You still got the carbon fiber dust from the manufacturing right there. So yeah, this is pretty much what you expect for the price, right? Here's the top plate. We've got cutouts for the battery strap. Very nice. I do like that the cutout for the battery strap is aft of this standoff. And also notice that it's got 4 standoffs here, whereas the QAV-R only has 3. Hang on a second. Is this more proportional to the RXL? Hang on. It is. I don't have my RXL frame here anymore. I actually have passed it on to another pilot in the local community who was going to fly it a little less hard than I will and maybe be less likely to break it. But if we compare here, the length of this frame is, I would say it's proportional to the RXL rather than this QAV-R like I've got here. So it's got 4 standoffs rather than 3. I do like that the battery strap is aft here. Frankly, I don't think there's a lot of point to this battery strap. unless you maybe were going to have one battery with 2 straps, perhaps. But I find that as soon as I put the camera on here with as much up tilt as I've got, this sort of area of the frame is kind of useless. And so the way the QAV-R is set up is you kind of have one battery strap here and one here. And this one is kind of a little bit not exactly where I'd like it. It's even a little far forward. I'd love to have one back here. So I do like that this frame's got this here. And here's the standard setup. This is I use these 2 little cutouts for mounting my video transmitter straight out the back. I do not use this hole. And comes with a grommet. That's nice if that's the way you like to do your power strap. I don't personally choose to do it that way, but it does come with a grommet. Very nice. And I kind of wished I could figure out if the dimensions here matched, but since this is a larger top plate, I'm not sure I'm going to be able to, but let's check. No, they clearly do not line up. Well, it doesn't line up with the QAV-R, and I'm not sure. I think the QAV-R is the same layout as the RXL, just the RXL is stretched a little. I kind of wondered whether you could buy this frame and use it for spare parts for your for your QAV if you didn't want to buy them from Lumineer. I'm not sure that I don't think it's going to fit though. And here's your bottom plates. It comes with 2 bottom plates. You can either do a double up, you can sandwich the arms, or you can just keep this as a spare and just lighten up the load a little bit. I'm not sure which way I'm going to build it out. And again, similar layout, I think, to the QAV-RXL. Yeah. Okay, so there you go. That's the frame. That's the first look at the frame. And I will see you next time. Happy flying.